as a Christian, I want to get married one day. Yesterday, me and my friend Kathleen were reading this book. She's apostolic Pentecostal, okay, because she has different beliefs than like a normal Christian would, right? And for her church, they don't wear wedding rings, okay? And she was telling me about it and stuff, and she was reading from this book about why they don't do wedding rings, and she was giving me the history, and she's like, Natalie, did you know like wedding rings, like they originally originated from like when people used to worship like this god, I think it was the Venus god or whatever, and also when men came and they're like, oh, I want to marry that woman, and you know, like when some marriages were non-consensual, they would put like a band around woman's finger to know like, oh, this woman is getting taken by this man to get married and stuff, right? So she was just telling me the history of where wedding rings came from, and I was like, oh. And she was like, yeah. And then she was showing me all this information about how the Catholic Church like eventually added it to like their religion and stuff, like the whole wedding ring thing, because wedding rings weren't a thing. Like nowadays they are, back in the day, like not, if you were married you didn't just have a wedding ring, like it was for certain reasons you would have a ring on your finger, right? And it got me thinking, it's like, like should I be wearing a wedding ring? Because if you think about it, at the end of the day, it's like the heart posture, but then it's also like, why are you getting this specific item? So I know like nowadays like getting a wedding ring isn't like necessarily bad, but when I look at the history of wedding rings, it's kind of like, maybe you don't want a wedding ring, but I would also like a wedding ring. But then wedding rings, a lot of women, they're very ego and prideful about their rings. And it was like a very interesting conversation, and I would like other people's point of views on the whole wedding ring thing. But she was telling me all this, and then she dropped me off at home, and then she went home, and right when she got home, her mom lost her diamond to her wedding ring. And she was like, Natalie, is this like not a sign or something? And I was like, I don't know, maybe for you because you don't want to have a wedding ring, but I like wedding rings. Because in the book she was reading, it was talking about how the pastor was preaching to the church and stuff about wedding rings and stuff like that, and some women, like, they would take their rings off because that they were following the crowd, right? And this one pastor's wife, she didn't want to take her ring off like at all, and the preacher, he didn't tell her, but he was praying to God like that she would take off the ring. And then one lady, her hand started getting like welts or something happened to her finger to where she had to take the ring off, and another lady, her ring just literally broke in half and fell off. Like all these like stuff had happened where the rings just came off when this guy was praying, like if they weren't supposed to be wearing wedding rings. So I don't know and stuff about wedding rings anymore. I have multiple opinions and feelings about it, but I wanted your guys' opinion. What do you guys think about wedding rings and the historical context behind why wedding rings were made and why people had them?